Well, the most pointless contract holdout's over. Let's talk about it.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Locked On Coyotes, your longest running daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes. I am your host, Robyn Leonio, alongside Matthew Jacobson. Today's episode brought to you by Jase Medical. We got a great show for you on today's episode. We're talking about Jan Jenik because we have to talk about Jan Jenik.
I was like, is it a great show? Or is it like one of those you kind of have to do because like the last thing they could do this offseason is finally done. And like this was the most pointless contract holdout.
I mean, remember the episode we talked about when a Jan Jenik? We're just like, okay, he's holding out and maybe he wants to trade. Whoop-de-doo.
He's 23 and like you know, mega douche Alan Walsh pointed out, anyone can sign an RFA for under $1 million or under $1.2 million, and they don't have to pay any assets. But it's like, look, the kid, and I do not hate Jan Jenik. All right, I just think this is stupid. His holdout was the equivalent of like my company cutting back a little bit, my job not being as necessary, or just other people work like performing better, and then me just saying, yeah, I am personally not going to show up for work until you give me a pay raise or like find me a job at another company. It's like the most pointless thing. And this 23-year-old kid had an injury last year. His production went from in 21-22 with Tucson. He had 51 games, 17 goals, 30 assists, 47 points, a phenomenal season. Last year, 30 games, 7 goals, 10 less, 16 assists, 14 less, and 23 points, a whopping 24 less points. And then on top of that, I'm not going to tell you who I talked to, but in the game that he got called up and took 2 back-to-back penalties and was immediately set right back down, let's just say he had a terrible game, very terrible, like small sample sizes. And like, you're coming off of a down year and you're in your early 20s. Like, what do you mean contract holdouts? What do you mean teaming up with mega douche Alan Walsh to cry on Twitter? What?
It really does baffle me too, especially because like I mentioned on the last episode that we had when I talked about him, you know, I wasn't even all that impressed during his time in Tucson. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, he's a power forward. Everyone else is a power forward, so like, what special?
Takes the exact same role,
right? I mean, like legit, like there's, like he didn't stand out. He never stood out. So when I found, like, you know, when I initially found out about his holdout, I was like, oh, all right, well, whatever. That's something we can cut that loose. I'm not worried. And then finally signs the extension. I'm like, okay, is that really worth anything?
No. It's not. I don't get it. I don't get it. We talked about it before, and I said I can understand it from the perspective of he doesn't have a roster spot here. He's not really part of the plans anymore, and guys like, you know, Liam Kirk just decided to go sign overseas. But if he still has aspirations to play in the NHL, I would hope that he would take better advantage of his opportunities, because he's not better than Carcone or Kerfoot or even Gunther at this point in his career. He's not good enough to hold out. I
want to show you something, Matt, that's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Bring up Cat Friendly right now.
All right, I will bring up Cat Friendly.
And go to the Coyotes page and non-roster and look at all the statuses of all non-roster, and you'll find something that stands out. It's honestly hilarious.
All right. So we're at non-roster. Literally everybody that isn't Ratu, Geeky, and Donor or Carcone, but Carcone will probably be up in the NHL, is going to be a free agent. They're all going to be RFAs except for Kirkland and Sanford.
What I want you to look at more is look at, right next to the position where it says status.
Minor. He's the only designated for minor league and not training camp. And he didn't even get a raise or anything. He's making $775 at the NHL level. Let's see. I'm looking at his other cap hits. His cap hits over the last 4 seasons were $817, $795, $795, and $795. He takes a pay cut technically, and this is the most pointless holdout. Like, if he would have just shut up, signed his qualifying offer, done his 1 year. I think he still is 2 years away from UFA eligibility, but played well and said, "Hey, I want to trade internally," just kept his mouth shut, I'd be singing a different tune, all right? Because I like the kid. He's not a bad player. I once again want to reiterate, Jan Jenik is not a bad hockey player. He is just so painfully mediocre that it's like me getting hired at a regular job, being below average, and then I demand higher pay for this job that I'm barely functional at, or a higher role. I demand a promotion, right? It's dumb. It's really, really dumb. And there wasn't any interest. He could have gone for free anywhere else, and there just wasn't interest.
Absolutely. It is really interesting, but we're gonna keep talking about this, talking about Jan Jenik and his contract extension in just a minute. But first, we're gonna take a quick break so we can hear from our sponsors on the show. And today's episode is brought to you by AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health that I drink literally every day. I gave AG1 a try because I was sick and tired of having to take so many different pills and supplements to just get all the nutrition and just all the health I needed for my day. Because there was no way, based off of how my schedule works, I was going to be able to get all of that. I wanted better gut health. I wanted better immune system support. I wanted more energy when I woke up. And AG1 was just the right thing, because all it was a scoop of this wonderful powder in a cup of water every day, every morning before I go to work, and that's it. I think there's no other need of anything. It's just that, and the best part is it's cheaper than your cold brew habit, less than $3 a day, and it just overall healthy. It's got more than 75 high quality ingredients that give me the key daily nutrients and supports energy, focus, strength, and clarity. The comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine. Then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/NHL Network. That's drinkag1.com/NHL Network. Be sure to check it out. All right, Matt. So I'm continuing to look at Cat Friendly here to kind of dig into the Jan Jenik contract extension. And this is what baffles me, right? This is what baffles me. So it's a $775,000 cap hit. His qualifying offer was $813,750. So his qualifying offer was more than what he ended up getting.
He not only took a pay cut from his last contract, he got less than the qualifying.
Yeah, my assumption was, hey, maybe there's a performance bonus in there. Like, hey, if you play X amount of NHL games, or if you get X amount of games in whatever, then you get a performance bonus. No performance bonuses, no signing bonus, just the base salary. And here's the interesting thing is that, maybe you wanted to be a little bit protected on his minor league salary. His minor league salary is $100,000, which I think is a little bit higher than other minor league salaries. But I don't know.
What do you say? What do we say? What can you say on a topic like this? Are you kidding me? The dude. All right. Mega douche. I'm talking to you specifically. All right. Not that you're gonna watch this show. Your ego's too fragile. But you literally, by throwing a damn temper tantrum on Twitter, you lost your client more money, which loses you more money. Right? For a dude that is constantly up in his feelings about the triple hard salary cap, despite the fact that there's plenty of benefits in terms of leveling out the playing field, so you can't just have the top three markets in the league constantly getting all the best players because they don't care about going into the tax, but also making sure that, like, even right now, certain markets can barely justify getting to the cap as it is, let alone above it. Like, straight up, it is a competitive advantage, or at least a potential competitive advantage. But literally, you cost your player money. All you're doing is trying to get more money for yourself and the people you work with and all your buddies by trying to get rid of the triple hard salary cap while you're losing your own clients' money. And then Jan Jenik, do you feel bad for him? Do we feel bad for a kid that turned down potentially more money to look elsewhere? Probably, like, realizing again there probably isn't a future for him here. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. But, like, wanting to stick his NHL dream and probably having this interesting individual in his ear, like, nah, you can get more money. Nah, you can go somewhere else. And, like, no one else wanted him. no one else cared. Like, do we feel bad? Do we not? Is it in the middle? What?
I don't know. Like, it's hard to say exactly how you feel, because, like, I mean, let me put it this way. As I mentioned, going into the season, they were like, I think Jan Jenik's first season, I was hopeful for him. I was like, maybe because this was like around that COVID shortened year when there was a lot of things going on. Jan Jenik was making his debut on the Roadrunners. I was interviewing who was it? I was interviewing Steve Potvin, because he was the interim head coach at the time of the Tucson Roadrunners, and I was like, "Hey, which player do you foresee that we should pay, that you feel like fans should pay attention to a little more?" And he said, "Oh, watch out for Jan Jenik. He's got the physicality. He's got this. He's got that." So I went with that. I was like, "All right, this is who Steve Potvin believes to pay attention to. I will take his word for it. Let's roll with it, and let's keep an eye on him." So I was hopeful, and then we get to where we are now, and I'm just like, damn, where have things gone?
2 words: Liam Kirk. 2 words: Peter Mueller.
Rip.
Look, just because a kid has the potential, just because a kid has the attributes, just because a kid is even showing it right now at 17, 18, whatever, doesn't mean they're going to make it on the other side. And it sucks. Be it injuries, be it stunted development, be it poor situations, be it poor motivation, be it a mix of any of those or others we're not considering. Sometimes they just don't make it. And it sucks because, like I said, I will reiterate one final time, he is not a bad hockey player. But it's kind of hard, like, to feel anything but, like, disappointment, but not being surprised at how this handled out. And, like, where's the spot? AHL, second line, third line? Because to an extent, minus him playing center, Ben McCartney plays a similar
probably
role.
middle six AHLer at this point. But what the problem is, when you with the Coyotes, the Roadrunners team being brought in, the addition of Doan and some other players coming in this year, like, Jenik's spot is slowly moving down. Like, I was originally saying, for a while, the first couple of years, he was, pretty heavily cemented at that, a solid second line. And I think now that more players are coming in, players that have developed quicker or just have more skill currently than he does, are just outshining him and getting his spots. So he's moving down.
I don't disagree with anything you said. I just kind of feel like it might come down to that and then a little more simpler reasoning where it's he wasn't exactly like a first round pick. Like I think he was a third rounder.
I think he was second. I think he was
I have it
second
right
rounder.
here. I can actually double check instead of talking out my rear end. Third round, 65th overall in 2018. If you can hit on that, great. If you can't, it is what it is. That's typically not going to be the bread and butter anyway. That is still technically a Chaika era pick. Even though he kind of fits a lot of Bill Armstrong's mold, it's like he had a very good season, followed it up with an injury season, as well as just not being as good in general. And you look at that and you look at other young kids that are hungry, other young kids that were picked with higher selections, other young kids that were picked by this general manager, other kids that are showing more at their current stage of development, 19, 20, 21, than Jenik is currently at 23. And it's like, what's the role? Like I said, other than him playing center, McCartney plays a similar role down in Tucson. There are other players. I'm going to assume guys like Drew or Sanford are also going to play a similar role. Is his spot bottom six? Is he going to be a third liner in Tucson? Is he going to be like, unfortunately, is he going to be Liam Kirk where he had a promising start and then injuries derailed it and he won't be able to beat out the other guys? Is his role going to be so diminished? Of course, he's not going to score the goals because he's playing fourth liner. And also, when you have
maybe he turns into one of the AHL's enforcers. You know, maybe he becomes like a new version of like a Boko Imama, where he's really just out there to punish people.
I wouldn't mind that. Like that could work. But what the problem is, like, you have other guys that are currently doing that and will continue to do that, and you seemingly, all right, I don't know behind the scenes. No one's called me, hey, Matt, this is what's going on with Jan Jenik. But on the surface, seemingly kind of throwing a bit of a fit about the situation instead of addressing it in the correct way and just trying to work past it. Or quietly, hey, if you can move me, I'd like that, but not really going the whole mega douche route with his agent. It's just like, it's not a good look in general. And now we're in a situation where he doesn't really have much value. And is the off-ice, like the off-season stuff, going to impact a potential role with the team? Because let's be honest here, no one likes headaches. Now, again, I don't know if it was led by him, partially by him, just by the mega douche. Doesn't really matter. But is that going to impact something like that? Is he going to be a fourth liner? This might have been the worst possible scenario. If anything, it probably would have been best to just go to Europe. To be honest, it might have been best to go to Europe, have his rights rescinded.
Let's wrap up the thoughts in a little bit. We'll get to some of our final thoughts in just a minute, but first we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors on today's show.
Today's episode is brought to you by Birddogs. Are you tired of sacrificing comfort for style when it comes to your activewear? Introducing Birddogs, a game changer in athletic shorts. Picture this: premium shorts designed for maximum performance combined with unparalleled comfort. Birddogs are here to revolutionize your workout routine. With their unique built-in liner, these shorts offer ultimate support and flexibility, ensuring you stay comfortable during even the most intense workouts. And here's the best part: Birddogs are more than just workout gear. They're versatile enough for you to take to the gym, to the streets, without skipping a beat. Designed with pockets that actually work, Birddogs give you ample space to store your essentials while you're on the move. Birddogs are made with premium, breathable fabric that keeps you cool and dry throughout the year activities. Perfect for the trails, the gym, or simply lounging around, Birddogs are the shirts you've been searching for. Order a pair of Birddogs today and join the thousands of satisfied customers who have made the switch. Visit birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL and enter promo code LockedOnNHL to get a free water bottle with every order. Birddogs, where style meets comfort and performance meets perfection. You won't want to take these shorts off. We promise you.
All right, Matt. So let's finish things off here, and I want to kind of go based off what you're saying, and kind of think about kind of take a step back too and think about this for a sec, because about it was a month ago when we heard the report that he was seeking a trade.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of part of the holdout, and then he signs for less. I wonder what happened in that case. Maybe why he didn't decide to go to Europe. Maybe no other NHL team even wanted to touch him for some reason. Because if he was seeking a trade, maybe the Coyotes just said, no, we're not trading you. But, or maybe they're like, well, we'll see. But no one was interested.
I'd have to assume it's the latter, because Bill Armstrong has been ridiculously consistent, from big players like Chychrun to smaller players like not drafting this or that player. If you don't want to be here, we don't want you here, essentially. And that's not even necessarily a middle finger. It's more of a, hey, it is what it is, but we want people that want to be here. That's our culture. And if Jan Jenik, for whatever reason, be it him not having a roster spot, a spat with management, whatever it is, if Jan Jenik doesn't want to be here, I have a feeling that Bill Armstrong would pretty happily oblige and, hey, let's get you somewhere you want to be. Then I just feel like he had no value. If Craig Morgan, who's someone that I do respect quite a bit, is talking about you like, I'm not really sure why you're holding out. This is probably the oddest or most pointless holdout. I'm not sure he has any value, and he's saying that publicly. I can't help but feel that that's echoed, if not a little more harsh internally. And it's like,
I mean, what would he even, let's say, what would even a trade yield back? Like a 2026 7th rounder? Like,
it would be an NHL, like EA NHL. Like when I'm just trying to get rid of a contract, hey, I played him in the minors a couple games and he's not that good, so I'd rather give it to a different player. I trade for a 7th round pick, or I trade for a 7th round pick swap just to get them to take it. Like, and Bill Armstrong's not going to pick swap to get rid of an asset. He's probably like, there's no value here. Just sign the contract, you idiot.
Yeah, just sign the contract, and once you become once you can become a UFA, then you're set.
Yeah, or play hard and get traded at the deadline. That's it. It's as simple as, if you don't want to be here, fine, go raise your trade value, and we will happily get you somewhere else.
Yeah, especially if he plays well in the Tucson level, can easily make an easy minor league swap.
Yeah, think of it like it was Trevor Murphy for. Was that one Gregory, or is that one it was a random forward, because they had too many defensemen and Trevor Murphy was playing forward at the time. It was 2018, 2019. I think it was Gregory or Giovanni Fiore. It was Giovanni Fiore. Literally just a minor league swap. It's probably what it's gonna be. And at that point, how motivated really is Bill Armstrong? Like, dog, I don't want this random minor leaguer. I don't care about I don't care about another Jeremy Gregory or whatever.
Right? No, 100%. So there's definitely a lot of moving parts. It just really baffles me that the steps got taken, and it does make me feel for Jan Jenik in some ways, but at the same time, I mean, like, I don't think it's his fault he didn't develop, and he's kind of just stuck in the situation. Maybe it's a lot of different decisions that went down, but it's definitely just a lot.
It was probably just the injury. like just to throw a shot in the dark, it was very likely just the injury. Because if you missed 20 plus games last year, there was an injury, and the production was sliced less than in half. Whatever it was, limited the production, limited his availability, limited what he could do. And when you have a bunch of other kids coming up, and you're like, well, we really like Jenik pretty much had to repeat 2 seasons ago last year to still really compete in this organization, which is weird to say because normally everyone thinks that we don't have that many good prospects. No, we actually are starting to have really good prospects. So I think that's as simple as it is you have an injury at the worst time. You have a bunch of kids already coming up, and it's like, well, we really didn't care that much either way to begin with. So
Yeah.
There's no power here. There's no desire here.
Yeah. My guess probably what could probably happen just for his sake is I'm trying to think of what it might be. Because like I just can't see him having, like really showing if a great season because Doan, Ratu, Smith, Leonard, I'm looking at some of the players once again that are going to be in Tucson, and I feel like they're going to show a lot more, right? It just kind of it's going to make it hard for Jenik to stand out. My guess is he just plays this year, kind of let's his contract go. Coyotes don't issue him a qualifying offer, let him go.
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure the only extent of the qualifying offer to not lose the asset for nothing, but at this point, I don't know. Just let him go.
Especially with the way that the team has been progressing, like we've been all been saying, the team has been progressing pretty darn well. But if you're not progressing with the team, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, and like I said, it literally could just come down to you have that one injury. You're not progressing the way they want. Well, like you said, what's the point? We got other players.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts before we close things off?
Keep your head down, kid. I don't expect you to watch this, and this definitely hasn't exactly been a favorable tone towards you. And I will apologize slightly. Like it's not meant to be a dog pile. It's just kind of a laugh at the absurdity of the situation. Keep your head down, play hard, and get yourself traded at the deadline to another organization. You have a higher chance of making the NHL, and whatever opportunity you get, take it. And I do hope you make the NHL level. I just don't see it happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I got a chance to cover this dude for a few years, and I had some hope for him, and so I hope the best for him as well. I just don't foresee it being in this organization as well. But that's going to be it for today's episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe if you have yet to already. We're available everywhere you get your podcast, including on YouTube and the Sirius XM radio app. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, on X at @LO_Coyotes. I'm personally at Robyn_Leonio. Matt Jacobson is at the AZ Sports Guy. Interact with us, ask a question you might have. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.